ChatGPT and Claude are basically the same tool, except for this one feature called MCP. When you properly set up this feature right here, Claude becomes 10 times better than ChatGPT. Once you set this up, Claude becomes a full AI agent equipped with all of the tools that it chooses to use. It chooses when to use each of these tools. And in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to set this up, some example workflows that I use to do research, create content, generate thumbnails, all from the comfort of my chatbot LLM. And this is something that ChatGPT just doesn't have access to right now. Let's not waste any time. Let's begin setting it up. So if you haven't already, you need to get Claude, and not the web version of Claude. What you need is the desktop version of Claude. So on your browser, just type in desktop, download Claude, and this will take you to this page right here, and then download it for whatever computer you have. I have a Mac. Once you have Claude downloaded, your screen will look a lot like this. And if you hover over Tools and you click on it, you won't see anything down here. So Claude Sonnet 4 is an agent. Claude Opus 4 is an even more powerful agent. They are agents out of the box. As soon as you download Claude, they are an agent. And an agent is just an AI that can use tools in a loop. So it isn't an automation, meaning if one thing happens, then this thing happens. When you chat with it, it will decide what tools to use. And these are all of the tools that it can use. When you're just now starting out on Claude, you won't see anything here, right? And right now I deleted all of the tools that I normally have access to, and we're going to be adding them. And you can theoretically have 200 to 300 different tools that your Claude agent can access every time you ask it a question or tell it to do something. You just need to understand how to give it access to the most powerful tools in the world. And for this, we're going to be using the Docker MCP toolkit. So we are going to go to docker.com and we are going to download the Docker desktop for whatever computer you have. And again, I have the Mac. So once we download Docker, our screen will look a little bit like this. And you're going to notice here that we have this MCP toolkit beta over here on the left. And here you see that we can now add MCP servers. Before we enable any servers, what we need to do is go to Clients, and we need to actually enable the Claude desktop. So once I've enabled the Claude desktop, it'll say disconnect, and that's exactly what you want. And then we can go back to servers. So the first tool that we're going to add is Notion. So we're going to click on this plus sign, and we're going to see here that it shows tools, 19. All of these tools are basically subtools that the Docker MCP for Notion has access to. Let me explain. First, I want to explain what this isn't. This isn't an automation. Many of you have heard of Zapier, which is notorious for workflow automations, where if a trigger event happens, a certain action happens, like adding it to Notion, adding it to Google Drive, right? And there can be follow-up actions, follow-up actions, follow-up actions, and there can even be splits, right? If an action happens, if that action is of type A, then it will do one thing, and here it will add it to Drive, right? It's not even this. What MCPs are is basically when you send a message to Claude, it's going to actually decide which tool to use. And remember, in Docker, I showed you that within this Notion tool, we have 19 different tools. So you can basically just plug these in right here. Now this Claude agent is now equipped with these 19 different tools, meaning if you ask it, it can create a comment in any Notion database. It can create a database. It can delete a block within a Notion page. It can get a block. It can post a database query, right? It can search your database. It can do all of those things. And if you add up enough of these tools, it can do basically anything in Notion that a human could do. It can navigate, create, delete, and edit. Very similar to how Cursor can navigate a code base, edit, delete, search the web. It's a very similar process. So if we want to give Claude the ability to do all of those different things within Notion, what we need to do is enable it. And we've already done that, right? We enabled this server, And once you enable a server, you will see it in this Servers tab, right? And when we click on this, the last thing that we need to do is we need to get our Notion integration token. And all you need to do to get this, you're going to press on the side panel, you're going to scroll all the way down and you're going to hit Settings. Within Settings, what you're going to do is you're going to click on Connections. And now you're going to press on Develop or Manage Integration. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to create a new integration. What we're going to do is we're going to keep this internal. We're going to choose whatever workspace you want to use. Oh, we have to add a name. I almost forgot. And we're going to call this Agent Power-Ups, whatever you want to call it. We're going to hit Save. And now we can configure this integration. So wait, why do we even have to do this? The reason we have to do this is because we're adding this Notion tool, but so we need to actually sign in, right? We're getting a code that's connected to our account. Not only that, the reason why we have to create a custom integration is we're deciding which exact pages within our Notion database Claude will have access to. And so in this case, we are giving it access to whatever accounts that we want, right? So if we go to the Notion's integrations that we just had open, we get to choose exactly what the capabilities are. I turn all of the capabilities here on. I want it to be able to read comments and insert comments. Now press on Access. And now we're going to select the pages. And we're going to go to Team Spaces. And I'm going to enable Agent Mind. Agent Mind is my space that has one main page or database called Agent Instructions. And so I'm going to hit Update Access. And if we go to Notion, what we can do now is we can actually click on Agent Instructions, and here is everything that my Claude will have access to. And notice how I'm literally creating this for AI. I'm saying here are your instructions if you're reading this, AI agent. Right? This is all of the SOPs, so basically all of the instructions on how to create content. You can see here we have short form hooks, long form hooks, podcast research instructions, a list of a bunch of my good tweets, a bunch of my good short form content, long form tutorial examples, etc., 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 how to use certain tools. I'm now creating this for AI. I'm basically planning over the next year, 2 years, we are going to have AI do as much as we possibly can. And so now that we've created this integration, right? Remember at the beginning in this configuration, we generated this code. What we're going to do now is we are going to hit Show and we're going to copy this code. I'm going to do it off camera because I don't want anyone else to have access to my Notion page. So we're going to go back to Docker and now we are going to paste that token right here. So I just paste in my Notion token, and what you need to do after you set up any of these tools is you need to hit back. And now what you're going to do is you're going to go to Clients and you're going to disconnect Claude. And you're going to come down to Claude and you're going to quit Claude. So we just closed out Claude. And now what we're going to do is we're going to hit Connect and we're going to reopen Claude. And then we're going to wait about 10 seconds just to give it some time to load. Right? And so now if we were to click on this right here, we should see this MCP Docker. And remember, there was 19 tools within that Notion integration, and we're going to see those same 19 tools listed right here. Okay, so now we have Claude open, and we're ready to use these new tools that we have access to, which is these Docker Notion tools. So let's start off pretty simple. I want you to do some research on the new Dia browser, and I want you to go into the How to Create Content SOPs database, find the short form hooks that I've listed there, and I want you to use those in your content scripts or as influence for your content scripts to write short form content on the Dia browser, the AI browser that was released, and I want you to place one document in the content database that has 3 versions, 3 different options for a short form script, all with hooks based on the short form hooks in the How to Create Content SOPs. You are using the Notion Docker tool, and we are going to run this. And as you can see here, it is using the browser tool. Now it is using this API post search tool. It is using a post database query, and notice these are all tools that are within this Docker Notion tool. And so perfect. Now let me get a second table to see if there are more hooks. I can see there, okay, and so now it's grabbing, right? It is taking a look at this database right here, and it's looking for these short form hooks, and it found them. Great, I have all the hooks from your SOPs database. Now let me find your content database. And so now it's going back here, content database, and now it's going to try creating a page in this. Let's see if it's able to do that. Boom, Dia browser short form content scripts. It added that. We can open this up. Let's go ahead and open this up full screen. We're going to see, great, now I'll add the content to this newly created page with 3 different short form script options for the Dia browser. And so it's going to automatically just do this for us. Boom. Option 1, it feels illegal to know. This feels illegal to know, but there's a new browser that can literally do your work for you. It is called Dia. And it's not just another Chrome alternative. This thing can chat with all your open tabs. And look at this, it's adding even more. Right? And the second one that it's using is everyone is doing Y, but you should be doing X. Everyone is still using Chrome like it's 2015, but they should be using AI browsers instead. Look at how good that is. And by the way, and I'm going to show you and so there's number 3, the hook that it's using is you're not going to believe what I just found out. You're not going to believe what I just found out about the future of web browsing. That is amazing. So it created these 3 short form scripts, right? Look at that. It just created that. You watched it happen live. The AI agent within Claude was basically controlling or adding things to Notion based on SOPs that I'd created previously. If we go into Agent Mind, Agent Instructions, and we click on how to create content SOPs, we'll actually find all of these right here. Right? Remember one of them was illegal, right? We can type in illegal. It feels illegal to know. So it used this as inspiration. Okay, so now I want to do some other actions. I'm going to say, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take this page and I'm just going to say on this page in Notion using the Docker MCP tool, I want you to add comments on this, giving me other options for hooks and a few other things that I could change. Give me some interesting things that I could do. And there we go. Now it's using some tools. Great, I found your page. Let me retrieve the content. So now it is get block children. I think this just basically means read the page, because all of these are children under this name of this page. I think that's kind of how they conceptualize it. I'm not fully certain. So now it's creating a comment. Let's see where it creates the comment. Let's see if it creates it here or actually on the document itself. Okay, it added a comment right here, alternative hook variants instead of this feels illegal to know, and it added it up here. This is not supposed to be public yet. Delete this after you watch it. My manager would kill me if they knew I was sharing this. I probably shouldn't be telling you this, but look at this. Body enhancement ideas, books appointments while in meetings, and so it's literally giving us ideas about the content, and that is really cool, and it's adding many different comments. Okay, so now for the really fun part. Now what we can do is we can actually go to projects, and now we can think of each of these projects like a person or an AI agent that has certain abilities or certain instructions or a certain set of skills. For example, let's go new project and let's call this content grader. And what we're going to do is we're going to create this project and we're going to give it instruction. You are Claude and you have access to Docker MCP tool with all of Notion tools within it. You have 19 different Notion tools that you can use. What your job is to do is to grade the content that gets created. And so whenever I say grade this, I want you to please comment directly on the Notion page. Do not comment on the whole page. Comment on the specific blocks within the page that you want to comment on. And add a ton of comments and tell me where I should change things, tell me different things that I could add, give me different options. But you should be adding many comments on different parts, and that is your job as an agent. And so now what we can do is we can save these instructions. Now all we need to do, we can just copy this right here and we can paste it in, and I'm just going to say grade this. And now it says I'll help you grade this, and now it's using those same tools. And notice how I didn't have to explain everything this time. I could just say grade this. And I want you to realize that I made a brand new project for this command, but I could just create a ton of different commands in one single project and just be able to have these go-to things that I can say to grade this, right? I could add a grade this, I could add a research this, I could add all of these different things that when I say it, it will go out and do all of these different steps. And yeah, look at this. As you can see here, it is now commenting on specific parts of the video. Strong opening. You immediately establish credibility by blah, 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 blah. Excellent hook. This feels illegal to know is a perfect curiosity gap. Very cool. And it's commenting directly on the script here. And here it says great copy structure. Love the bullet points for scannability. Consider adding specific time savings. Saves 2 hours a day. Very interesting. And it's basically just going to continue to add comments here. And as you can see here, it's literally adding comments for every single line, which is absolutely insane. Time to have a little bit more fun. We're going to actually add another tool. So we're going to come back to Docker, these tools within Claude, and we're going to just type in glyph, and we're going to add glyph. Once we add glyph, we're going to see two tools in our server, and you'll see here that it says secrets required. This means we need to click on it, and we need to go to configuration, and we need to give it 2 secrets here. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to glyph.app, and what you'll see here is a bunch of glyphs or workflows. And what we can do is we can actually create a workflow, but I'm actually going to use one that I've already created. So I'm going to go to my glyphs, and I have this thumbnail ideator photorealistic tool, which allows me to type in an idea, video about using MCPs to make Claude so much better, and it makes it absolutely amazing because I can give the AI agent, which is Claude, access to tools. This glyph allows me to type in my idea like I did right here and hit run this glyph. Now what it's going to do is it's going to take my input and it is going to go through this workflow. And what it's going to do is it's going to take the text output here and it's going to generate 5 different images, and then it's going to put it on a canvas. And as you can see here, it created this image right here. So it literally created these 5 thumbnails, and it uses this workflow. It uses the ChatGPT image model. If you want to hit edit, right, you can actually see that it splits it up into this JSON format. And this is a whole video in and of itself. And what you can do is you can actually just snag this title right here, this ideator photorealistic. And what we're going to do is we actually need to go to our profile. So we need to click on our profile and we need to go to settings. And what we need to do is we need to click on API. Once we click on API, we now have 2 different tokens here. What we need to do is we need to create a new API token. And so I just named it token. Now I'm going to copy it. And now we're going to go back to Docker. And we're going to paste the secret in right here, and we are going to hit this plus sign. Now it shows 10 different tools here, and one of those tools is, it has all of these tools that we can use right here. But remember, we just added a new tool, so we need to go to clients, disconnect the Claude desktop. We're going to quit the desktop. And what we're going to do is connect and reopen. And this is going to open this up. And now what we can do is if we press on this right here, and we can see MCP Docker. And you notice here that it says 29 different tools. So we now have all of those glyph tools right here, which is my glyph, user info, my glyphs, remove all my glyph tools, remove glyph tool, run glyph, save glyph, search glyphs. So this is very cool. So now we can say, what are my glyphs? Just list them. Claude would like to use an external integration. We're going to hit always allow, and it is loading. Here are my glyphs. So thumbnail idealistic. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to say search my Notion database, find the content script on Dia browser, and use the thumbnail ideator photorealistic glyph on that. And now it is running the glyph. And so it basically went through all of these different steps, and it didn't actually output the link to the glyph, like the output of the glyph, but here it is. So if we click on this and we hit open link, we'll see that the Dia browser AI does your work. Browser revolution, never browse again, multitasking revolution, browser from the future. 5 hours versus 5 minutes. It has 5 decent thumbnails, right? And there's tons of useful tools that you can do, right? You can add get YouTube transcript. You can also add an Obsidian integration. You can also add Exa. So like this is an alternative to the search feature that's built directly into Claude. You can have additional search options. That's what Exa does. And again, all of these do require an API key, but you can just go to Claude and say, search the internet, tell me exactly where to get the configuration key for this. And then one of the most popular is Slack. So you can add your Slack team ID, Slack channels ID, and Slack bot token. Now, all of these could be videos on their own, but it is all about mixing and matching whatever tools that you want to give Claude to make it as powerful as you want, because you can give it the proper context to do the tasks that you want and to retrieve the best information so that it can answer your question and be the smartest AI agent that can help you basically do everything. And that is the essence of MCPs, and I really, really hope this tutorial was helpful, and I'll see you here in the next one.